Welcome to the verdict room. Pull up a seat. We're seeking the truth. Dropping in week after week. Yeah. Last 24, lay it out on the table. True crime experts peeling back every angle. Looking for answers, real exact. Pin the timeline, track by track. All Bronx telling tales, she keeps us in line. Every little detail, every tiny sign. They break it all down at Dago's Cafe. Coffee on the counter, new case, same day. Welcome to the verdict room, where we're seeking the truth, no spin. Bringing you the facts so raw, let the evidence speak again. Exposing all the secrets, looking for the lies in the cracks. They throw revelations at your feet till the gavel comes down on the facts. Hey! Typically unique, but the method is clean. Red string on the board, map out every scene. Replay the last call, rewind the last text. If it don't add up, they on to what's next. Side eyes, alibis, tear them apart. Trail through the dark with a flashlight heart. Bronx on the story, keeping pace on the track. Every minute, every motive, never holding it back. Welcome to the verdict room, where we're seeking the truth, no spin. Bringing you the facts so raw, let the evidence speak again. Exposing all the secrets, looking for the lies in the cracks. They throw revelations at your feet till the gavel comes down on the facts. Week after week, you know the sea's still warm. Cold case heat brewing up in the storm. From the Bronx to the booth, they connect every clue. When the hammer hits the wood, you know the verdict is you. Welcome to the verdict room, where we're seeking the truth, no spin. Bringing you the facts so raw, let the evidence speak again. Exposing all the secrets, looking for the lies in the cracks. They drop the gavel one last time and the truth keeps pulling you back. Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Hello. How are you guys?
Good. How are you? Good evening,
Hello.
Friends.
friend.
Hola. It's beautiful here. It's 76 degrees. What's it
That's
like by you
what's
guys?
up.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
That means
like,
it's coming our way.
It's 57 here
Not bad.
78.
I didn't even go outside.
and sunny.
today.
Sunny here. So, I have bad news. I just received a message from Miss Lana. She has more than one thing going, I guess, but she had the time thing mixed up, and her son has a soccer game. She thought this was going to be, for some reason, she got this confused with another thing. It was supposed to be 6 o'clock West Coast. So she said, I can be there in a couple hours. I said, we won't be here. So
Aw.
I have to reschedule her for tonight. But you'll still have us. I know it's not as good, but my apologies.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, she definitely thought I was somebody else because she responded from the one earlier and then she just responded to this one I just sent her to. So things happen. People get busy. I understand. It happens. But we can still have a great discussion in here tonight. So my
For sure.
apologies to everybody. What'd you say?
I said for sure.
Yeah. But we will get her back. She said she's sorry. Things happen, I guess.
Yep, stuff comes up.
Real life is always more important, and guys, we have real lives too. So
Yeah.
sorry about that, everybody.
Please stay with us, though. We'll have an interesting conversation no matter what.
Yes, if I see those numbers fall off, I will come find you.
Very pissed. Very pissed.
I will come find you. So anyway, welcome. It's wonderful to see you guys. Anyway, it is Saturday. It is time for the verdict room, and I guess I should take this down. Here we go. Plenty to talk about as always, I think. But
I had a
we do.
question for you.
In that case, I'm out.
Strap in, Bella.
Whenever you want.
Sorry.
Well, I was watching your live earlier, Dago, and you were showing the Lyndon interview, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And I know you had
What'd
a
you
main
think?
point that you were trying to make, and I watched almost all of it, but there were a couple of points where I was in and out, so I missed the main point. Like you were saying something about him contradicting two different interviews or something like that. What was it?
Wait, hold on. Say that back one more time.
With the Lyndon interview.
Yeah.
Didn't you have like some main point that you were? I heard you.
Oh,
Referencing, but I'm like, oh, I didn't hear what he said.
what I was pointing out was, thank you, Frankie. What I was pointing out was because I think that Lyndon Beck is the same person that came out 3 years ago in the video and said that the feds threw Dylan under the bus. It's the same voice. That's the point that I was actually trying to make. But then
Okay.
the point behind it was why. Why did he do that? Because they sound like the same person. That video came out 3 years ago. Nobody knew who that was. And I was like, wow, that's the same person. I don't care what anybody says. It sounds to me like the exact same person. So
They threw her under the bus for what?
saying everything that came out, I can actually play the video if you want to see it real quick. It's
Oh
not
yeah, because
too
I'm
long.
clueless on that one.
I know I covered it in my show, but it's been literally 3+ years. So 1 minute.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Sweet. Now I'm not alone. I'm not alone now. That was improper.
Oh, I was going to tell Skull the next time I see him, he needs to make an Eric Gower video called Private Driver, like, I'm your private dancer.
Dago, what interview are you looking for? I'm sorry.
Not. It's a video. It's a video somebody put out 3 years ago. I have it right here. Hold on.
Cool.
And I'll show the point behind it. 1 minute. All right. I know you guys will remember this.
I have seen that.
Referring to about the feds screwing or attempting to screw Dylan. And give you a brief background as to who I am. So my girlfriend is in Dylan's inner circle. And by inner circle, I mean inner circle. Like they've hung out almost every day since the incident occurred. And I've seen her a plethora of times.
So my point is I'm almost 99.99% positive. That's Lyndon Beck.
Oh, the voice. Okay, so I have heard this person talk. I have heard this video. Okay.
Interesting.
I'm very
Yeah.
I'll show you why I believe this, okay? Hold on.
Yes.
For those of you that didn't get to catch this earlier. Give me Von Minot. 1 second here.
Do you think Josie and Dylan were
I never knew that they were that close, but maybe. Who knows?
I mean, some events make some people closer and some events tear people apart. Look at Bellin.
Right.
Bethany
Right.
and Dylan. I said Bellin.
Villain. So here, listen to this now. Now there is background noise in this. It's hard to hear to some extent, but you can hear the inflection, the tone, the style of voicing that he has, and I'm telling you, they match up.
It's really early in the morning, like 2, 3.
What time did you guys crash, roughly?
8 maybe.
Yeah.
good catch?
Do you hear it?
Can you play it for another couple of seconds? I want to try and hear that lisp.
Yep. Oh, it's there. I even slowed down the other one. It's even better, but yeah, hold on.
Okay, cool.
What's that street? So here's the White's apartment, maybe.
Okay.
Like that's like the 2 apartment complex.
For somebody that doesn't know the layout of the sororities,
Hold on, I get to one part where it's real easy to hear it.
What's that street? That it's like here's the White's apartment maybe.
okay? And that's just apartment
Yeah.
distance? What kind
Yeah.
of distance?
I'd say so.
Parking lot.
You go it's like the parking lot, you go right here. Okay, go walk through it. The other house is like back here. So here's the White's apartment maybe.
Sororities. Where's the Whites compared?
That happened.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm sorry. Um, woke up around that time that happened.
Okay.
And yeah.
as well. So you're going to notice I'm not going to use words like allegedly, supposedly, because all of this is actual, firsthand, factual.
Help me, for somebody that doesn't know the layout of
And then I'm sorry.
what time do you guys crash, roughly?
8 maybe.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry. Woke up around that time that
Information. Where should I start?
Wow.
that happened.
Okay.
And yeah.
Help me.
You see what I mean?
It's close.
Telling
I
you
think-
it's the same voice, man. And he's got like the certain words, he'll say things like that. And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
draws it out. I had my wife listen to it too. We listened to it like 35 times, and I was like, that's gotta be the same damn voice. I'm telling you, there's like a deep, like a growl to it. The
Yeah.
difference is in this room, there's like an echo in this room with
Yeah.
the one microphone. And the way that was recorded, this one here, it's like I'm talking to you right now. He's probably right up on it. So it's getting nothing but his voice. You know what I'm saying? So many people believe it. My wife and I both believe that's the same voice, same person. It's just the day of the interview, the guy was probably in a different mode mentally. So I sped up the one or slowed down the one, and they almost lined up perfectly. Because somebody in the chat said, slow this down. And they were like, oh my God, I hear it now. So the point I'm saying is it sounds to me like the same person, whether it is or it's not. Like I said, and one was the day of the murders. He was probably in a different mode. This one here, he's probably, this is gone past. Now he's pointing, like he's directly having this for this reason. He's talking about it for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's just wild to me. What I wanted to know is, why did you do it if it is you? What was the point behind this? And it says that Dylan was completely behind this, that Dylan wanted him to do it, basically. And so, were you trying to prove a point by doing this, Dylan, by having him do this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I guess it would make a difference whoever is saying this, how close they were to the people that were there for the crime, to know how
Right.
how true this is or not. But if it is Lyndon, because the voices, I think they do sound pretty similar. Not saying 100% that it is him, but it does
Right.
sound
No, of
pretty
course.
close.
I'm almost 99% sure, or 95% sure.
Yeah, that's where I would be at, but it sounds pretty close. Can we play the rest of this and see what else he says?
Sure. Yeah. And are y'all still defending it? Are you still believing that this person is guilty? Obviously in the wrong channel. Have a good day. You want to hear this one, Logan?
Yeah.
Read the docs, Bob. Watch the body cams, Bob.
Pay attention, Bob.
Listen to the
Bob,
interviews, Bob.
I'm just curious how there wasn't any blood transfer. If one person used the same knife, how come
Right.
there wasn't blood transfer from victim to victim? And you're entitled to your own opinion, but that's a huge
course.
deal.
Yep.
Yeah. That's facts. I want to know how, when he was killing Xana, how he just reached over and killed Ethan with one hand too, according to Gilbertson. I'd like to know
And
how he did
Ethan
that.
has defensive wounds, so
Right.
who would be able to one person do that to two people, especially Ethan
You
and
guys,
Xana at the same time?
he stalked him and planned this.
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Right. Oops, sorry about that. Yes, agreed.
So
And didn't leave any footprints.
No, not one. Not one.
Calculated.
Mm-hmm. He levitated room to room and did this
Yeah.
because he's Pokemon or whatever the hell they're, whatever they are. I don't know, whatever.
Had nothing in his car that he drove to the crime scene.
No, not
supposedly.
one. Not a hair in his apartment. Not
Smooth
a drop of
criminal.
blood in his shower. Nothing. Right.
Whose other blood is on the knife sheath?
Yeah.
Bob.
Who are those two guys?
Whose other blood is mixed with Ethan's? Because it's not a victim's.
Thank you.
So those are some
Thank
of the
you.
reasons why we're still talking about this.
Yeah, and why was Brian Koberger's DNA excluded from everything? Not included, excluded. If he was the killer. Bob.
Yeah, it wasn't his fingerprint on the sliding door.
In the victim's blood.
That's right, Bob. Jeez, Bob. Crickets. I think Bob left and ran away when we called him out. I'm sorry, SRB. Just saying.
No, Bob, come back. I want to talk to you.
Let's see, is he there? Hold on. Bob, can you hear me, Bob? Hey. Come on. Oh, no. He's not brave enough to talk to you, Logan. Sorry.
Wade Bird says, you guys don't know? Brian Koberger levitated with his shower curtain cape and samurai swords. Duh.
Oh, my God. That makes perfect sense.
Why did we not think of that?
I don't know. It's only been 3.5 years. Jeez. Interesting.
Why are you going to dig so deep? Dang.
Oh, Lucy said the trolls are out thick. That's
Unbelievable. No, that's all right. We got plenty of mods in here that are thick, too.
They've unthawed.
Yeah.
It's
They're in
going
here
around
thick, too.
America.
You know, we were also talking earlier when you showed, someone showed a clip of, I don't know if it was Banfield or somebody interviewing, and no, it was Megyn Kelly when she was questioning the 8-hour delay, and she like almost got roasted by her panel guests for even like trying to question.
Oh, yeah.
And so, okay, that was probably before like the documents and everything got released. And so, okay, now here we are with everything, all the interviews that we've heard, the body cam footage, everything that's getting FOIA'd. Could somebody go back and re-interview those people now that we have verified evidence and then let them comment? Like, how could they say what they were saying back then now that there's all this information out? And nobody's doing that.
Right.
Nobody on mainstream media.
No, not at all. And yes, SRB, Bob was in one of the other channels. Sorry. I didn't notice that either.
It was in mine.
Oh, okay.
I'm the magnet, remember?
I see you, tomboy.
Not me. I tell you that there, buddy.
All right.
Which is fine. I don't mind questioning. He wasn't mean or anything, but I mean,
No, yeah, it's just my
It's
goodness.
Oh, we'll just have to answer his question. That's all.
you asked.
That's right. That's right. All right. So you wanted to hear this? Here we go.
I mean, I've already heard it, but yeah, I'd love to hear it again.
we dive into what I'm referring to about the Fed screwing or attempting to screw Dylan and give you a brief background as to who I am. So my girlfriend is in Dylan's inner circle. And by inner circle, I mean inner circle. Like they've hung out almost every day since the incident occurred. And I've seen her a plethora of times as well. So you're going to notice I'm not going to use words like allegedly, supposedly.
I feel like there's a nationality tone difference.
Actual firsthand factual information.
Like a Rolo versus a white person.
To clear things up.
I always thought he sounded like Rolo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I always did from the beginning. I don't need these on here. They're on.
I feel like I've heard this voice somewhere before.
But that's what I said when I was listening to that. The reason I found this is I was listening to Lyndon Beck's interview again, and I was like, what is he actually saying? Because he was talking about things being at 9-ish in the morning and this and that. So I went back and listened because I heard a couple channels try claiming that he was there early in the morning, that Hunter was there early in the morning and way before everybody else. So I wanted to hear what he was saying. So I went back and I started listening. I'm like, why do I know his voice so well? And then this clicked, and I went looking for this, and I listened. I'm like, oh my god, that is it, because I remember thinking how interesting the voice in this sounds. It's very particular. It's not just any old voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the two lined up. So, at least to me, I'm sure there's people that don't believe or think that it's him, and that's fine. So anyway, that's why this all came about.
First of all, there's a lot of misconception about Dylan suffering from PTSD or trauma or any of that. None of that is accurate. In fact, when we try to console Dylan after the incident, she's the one that was laughing at me and my girlfriend and I, talking about we're so weird when we tried to give her a hug and stuff. So she's still the same old Dylan. She's had a rough life growing up. She's been through a lot. She doesn't have PTSD and didn't suffer any trauma. The incident that night, and what I'm referring to with the feds actually put a lot of words into her mouth.
No, I see. Hey, Jesse. Excuse me. Lana was not able to show up tonight. She mixed up the time with another time with somebody else. So she was at the soccer field with her son and got confused on it. And so we'll have to reschedule her, but you still get us. Sorry about that, folks. On we go.
Mouth that she didn't say herself first. So there was a lot of leading statements that they were insinuating to her. And she was really scared the first few days, obviously, after the incident occurred. So, like, the reason none of it makes sense in the affidavit is because it didn't really happen that way.
See that little thing he does afterwards when he says, it didn't really happen that way. That's something else he does. Lyndon does too. Which is another reason why I thought that. So do you guys think she was scared the first few days? Did you guys gather that from her interviews?
Dylan? Hell no.
So we heard at the beginning ish that Dylan actually stayed with somebody that lived right up the street, like a friend or something.
Yep.
So how scared could you be if you are living just a couple houses down right after it happened, unless you knew nobody was coming after you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
And see, what he says here is this to me. This sounds like Dylan got close with this person after the murder. Okay, and they started hanging out after. I wonder, because guess who lives right up the street? Josie and Lyndon. And I wonder if maybe she stayed with them. And this is how this all came about, because she knew that everybody was coming at her. Everybody was attacking her for not calling 911, this, that, and everything else. And he was like, you know what? I'll help you out. I'll put this out for you. This will shut everybody up, which it did not do. But still, it could have been. This is her friend's boyfriend. Yes, Jesse.
As I'm listening to this, it doesn't sound too defending of her, though. He's really coming out and saying, like, look, guys, she doesn't have PTSD. And I would think if he was trying to, like, cover for her or, like, back her up, he would paint her more as, like, a victim.
Yeah, and he's also saying,
and he's like, no, she's fine. She's acting like normal. Same old Dylan.
It didn't upset her that much, is the way she's what he's saying from this. It's kind of, and that's kind of a point I was going to make. Like, we saw her at the sentencing hearing, how her whole life is ruined now. According to him, it's not. She's fine. She didn't have any PTSD from her childhood. She didn't have any of these issues that this set off. She's perfectly, in fact, when him and his girlfriend tried to give her hugs and say, hey, it's going to be okay, she was like, get away, I'm fine. Really? Okay.
Somebody mentioned that this could possibly be Daniel faking.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
I hadn't heard that, and I forgot all about him. So
I went and listened to him against this. It's got one of, like, certain words that it says. It's not him.
Oh, okay.
I listened to this a million times with that. There's certain words that they'll say that it does come off like him, but the voice is too deep. Daniel's voice is higher.
It's someone with just a deep, gravelly voice.
Yeah. Right. And Daniel doesn't have that.
Okay. I forgot all about that guy.
But again, I'm not saying that means that it's got to be Lyndon Beck, but I definitely do not believe this is Drunk Turkey. Sorry.
Well, I think out of everybody we've heard, he's the most similar.
Lyndon,
So if we're going to try to narrow it down to anybody, he would be top of the list.
Yeah. And like I said, remember that this was done on the day that we hear the Lyndon Beck interview is the day of the murder. So he's a little bit in a different type of mode. He's going to sound differently. Eddie was talking differently. 'Cause like I said, when I sped up the interview, it did line up a lot better. So anyway, sorry.
I was listening to it for that Spanish accent too, and I get why people are saying that, but I don't really hear it. I don't hear it too much. Just because I'm like you guys, it made me think of Rollo. I don't think it is Rollo. I'm not saying that, but it's that type of deep
the inflection.
Rollo has that more accent that you would be looking for, and this guy doesn't have it.
Right. He's got the same depth, the same inflection, the same style, but minus that maybe that Spanish side to it. You know what I'm saying? It's very close though.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So she never stood there shocked when she saw the individual. She was just standing in a doorway, like anybody who opens the door. It was just, she opened the door and yelled at Ethan and Xana, and who she thought was their friend. She yelled at them to be quiet. That's what was going on with that situation. And she just went back into her room. She locked the door like usual and, went to sleep. Everything was quiet after she yelled at them. So she didn't think anything of it. For everyone who's creating these random stories about her being shocked or traumatized, she didn't realize anything was going on. And it might sound crazy, it might sound dumb, but she really had no clue anything was going on. They were being a little loud, so she yelled at them to be quiet. And that's it. She locked her door and she just went back to her room.
She didn't have a clue when people are screaming for their lives, screaming bloody murder, probably screaming, no, please stop, don't do that, or any of that. You have no clue.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Does anybody have a video of Joe Vito talking?
Somebody else said that.
I'm literally looking that up because that's what I thought.
I know he was on TikTok at one point. Like he had his own TikTok, but I don't know if it's still on there.
I think Karmic Retribution said she thought it was him. I don't think it's him either. Out of everybody, it sounds like this one, but we don't know if it's any of them. You know what I mean? But yeah, somebody else. That did remind me a bit of Joe. Joe Vito's voice was it wasn't as deep, I don't think either.
I agree with Sleuther. It does sound like some YouTube creator, but I can't tell who it really is.
I don't know, man. It seems like a late 20s, early 30s voice.
It does sound like an older voice to me. Yeah. So that would be weird to be in that inner circle, but
and she didn't want to be nosy or anything. So, she was kind of new to that house, so she didn't want to be nosy and, get all up in their business. But
don't forget, everybody, Rick Astley's voice did not ever match his bass.
Oh, that's true.
Rick Astley, the little tiny redheaded dude that sounded like he looked like Barry White.
It's not Joe. I
know. Yeah, no way. I never thought it was him. Right.
Okay. I'm really bad at that. When I hear a voice, I immediately get an image of what they're supposed to look like, and when they don't match, I'm like, man.
I always have to remind everybody of Rick Astley. I remember the first time I saw Rick Astley, I went, "You don't sing that song, bro. No, go away. You don't sing that song."
He had a strong, deep voice.
Right. He's like 5'3" and redhead. What? No way. Little Irish guy singing that song. Nope, wasn't you.
Never gonna let you down.
In the middle of the night or early morning. So it's as simple as that. Everyone trying to blow that whole situation into something that's not. So yeah, that's that. And she didn't actually get a real good look at Brian. At the time, she assumed it was one of Xana and Ethan's friend who was just getting ready to leave, who was walking out. She didn't get that good of a look. The feds were really aggressive with Dylan the first few days, which is why she hired the attorney to begin with, because of the treatment of her during the interview.
She didn't hire an attorney. It's her stepmother. It's probably pro bono, I'm sure. Anyway.
Like an interrogation, to be honest. So that's why she got an attorney, because the way they were talking to her, and they didn't really understand or believe why she's the only one alive when you kind of skip rooms to get to the other two rooms. So she didn't really like the feel of how the interrogators or the feds were talking to her. And within like a few days after the incident, they approached her with pictures of Brian. I was like, is this the guy? Do you think this is the guy? This is definitely him, right? And they were almost leading her to believe this has to be the person. And she wasn't really sure, but they kind of put those words in her mouth. It's almost like, they were insinuating it so much to where she was like, yeah, I think, yeah, no, it's definitely him. And that's when they just kind of like ran with it. So what you see in the affidavit is, it didn't play out that way. So Dylan's attorney and her, and actually all of us, are pretty upset at how they threw her under the bus in the affidavit. When's the last time you've seen a witness or like a snitch in a case, their actual names being mentioned? The fact that they didn't redact it. We all think that the feds and prosecutors threw her name in there purposely to apply more pressure, because Dylan was really wishy-washy during the interrogation. And with them, putting these words, set in stone on paper, it kind of puts a lot of pressure on her now, because everyone views her as like some star witness, the star of the case. So that's what we all believe, that she kind of is getting screwed over by, the feds and the prosecutor, because now she has to testify and she has to say kind of what words they put in her mouth instead of what she actually believed, and what she actually knows happened, like with her own words, not words that were like shoved in her mouth, So yeah, her attorney is pretty upset. She's pretty upset, but at the same time, she knows that, she can be a huge help in this case.
Who's that belong to? Is that mine?
Thank you, On Top X. You always start off our show with a bang. We appreciate you more than you know.
Very much appreciated. Thank you.
So it's not like she's identifying somebody she didn't see. It just didn't play out necessarily like, oh, bushy eyebrows. She saw bushy eyebrows, and was able to 100% identify him, It's just initially when, detectives and feds came in and took over the scene had been contaminated so badly by the local authorities. When they first came, first responders, they stomped all over the place, contaminated the scene. All the, other people that were at the house, they were, walking up and down the steps, to make sure what they're seeing is what they're really seeing. So, I mean, this is a scene that was really badly contaminated. So to equal the playing field, the feds feel like, having a star witness is critical here. But just the way she was being interrogated initially was, it's kind of crazy. It's not what you guys think. They weren't being all sensitive and gentle to her. They were really accusatory and kind of.
Okay, well, if they did, it was not in any of the interviews that we heard that they did with her. They were never accusatory. They were never hardcore, or never really went at her with any hard questions. The closest thing to that I've heard is the Vicky Gooch interview. And that still was pretty kid glove-like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, honestly. Now, if we could get a hold of the FBI interview, which is what we all want to hear.
No doubt.
Maybe that's different, as it should be. But I don't know that that's true. So,
yeah, I FOIA'd that. She did one on December 1st with Williamson, I believe his name is, and they told me absolutely not. You cannot have that due to privacy reasons, and I'm so tired of hearing that.
I think they did that Miss Potts too.
Oh, with that camera out back, huh? Or was it something else?
Yeah, they said anything she sent off to the FBI. They said, "You're not getting it. You're not allowed to have it." End of story.
Well, and Miss Potts asked for some information regarding Brian Koberger, and they sent one back and told her, we can't give you anything that has anything to do with WITSEC, NatSec, confidential informants. What?
Why? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah. What does that mean?
WITSEC, NatSec. What is WITSEC? What does any sec have to do with Brian? Come on.
Right.
He killed 4 people. That's no sec there.
Interesting response.
Things that make you go,
pressured, put the press on her. Thought that she might have something to do with it because it just didn't make sense to them why she's the only one alive. And on top of that, didn't see anything or really hear anything. She didn't want to be nosy, didn't want to, get up in her roommate's business. She told him to be quiet. The last thing that crossed their mind was people are getting slaughtered next door and upstairs. So I think that's pretty much everything I've covered. So yeah, just to go over the whole, suffering trauma. She was shocked that she saw him walk past her. Like, it's not as dramatic as you guys think. Like, he was already halfway towards the kitchen and walking out. And for all of y'all that are scratching your heads, yes, police do lie. They've kind of thrown everybody around the ringer through this whole case from the very start. And you have to think about it. Why would a survivor, a victim, have to hire an attorney? Obviously, they were mistreating her pretty badly as they're interrogating her, especially now throwing her name in the affidavit like that. That's all because they're pretty upset she hired an attorney to begin with. And because they want to put a lot of pressure on her from the public for her to be the star witness. But aside from that, she's doing good. She's the same old Dylan.
Same old bullshit.
There's no trauma, PTSD, anything. She really feels for, her friends who are deceased, and she does beat herself up a little bit about.
So then, what is everything she's talking about in the sentencing hearing? If none of
Exactly. Yeah. Her fucking statement. Yeah.
Is that a show? Is that an act?
She just never put on a show, Dago. How dare you?
Oh my. I can't tell. Same old Dylan, same old shit, huh? What does that even mean? That's a great question to ask. What is same old Dylan and what's the same old shit? Why did she need to go fund me to restart her life? Then all this stuff happened. And why was that paused? I wonder too. Sorry.
That's what I was going to say. Does anybody know who paused that and why?
Don't know.
I know it. I think somebody said usually when they pause things, it is due to like possible fraud or criminal activity. I just don't know. Yeah. I just don't know if that's the reason for hers.
Yeah. That would be if the company paused it.
Right.
Now, didn't an aunt or a relative start that for her?
Yes, I believe
yeah.
Because they could have paused it. But
sure, yeah. They can pause their own, but why would you?
Maybe they figured out she's full of shit, Kimmy.
I just can't get over all of the questions in all of these interviews, and we're focusing on Dylan right now, but the questions that didn't get asked. I think it would be super interesting if I don't know if we want to do it tonight, but have some episode where we're like, these are the questions they should have asked.
Yeah, they just did enough to basically, fill out timeline points For sure. I started writing down questions today. Like, why didn't anybody ask Bethany or Dylan? What did Maddie and Kaylee always sleep together in the same bed?
Interesting.
Like, wouldn't that be important to know? And I got that listening to your show earlier, Dago, when you guys were talking about like the evidence of Kaylee possibly being carried back up to the room because her blood is swiped onto the doorway. Like, ask them that. You have evidence of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. These are just a few things. Why would a GoFundMe get temporarily paused or disabled? For several reasons, usually tied to trust, safety, or policy concerns. Here's some common ones. Verification issues. The organizer hasn't completely
identified. Scrooge.
Yes, organizer Scrooge.
One more time.
Identified themselves, suspicious or inconsistent personal details, missing required documentation, unusual activity or fraud flags, sudden spike in donations that look suspicious, reports from donors questioning legitimacy. I bet you that was one of them. And multiple accounts tied to the same person or campaign. Policy violations. Campaign may be paused if they involve misleading or false information. Legal defense for certain serious crime. Legal defense for certain serious crimes.
Interesting.
Right? Hate, harassment, or exploitation. Fundraising for prohibited items and services. And then it says beneficiary or fund beneficiary or fund disputes, a disagreement over who should receive the money, someone reports the organizer isn't authorized, family legal conflicts, and withdrawal from or banking problems. Bank account doesn't match organizer info, failed or flagged withdrawals, payment processor issues. And then this one's interesting. Law enforcement or legal concerns. If a case becomes part of an investigation, court orders or legal complaints, ongoing criminal or civil matters tied to the fundraiser. Well, then.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm wondering if, with that being said, is it possible that something's going to happen in that case and so they cannot have the information? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
they're going to maybe have
she is.
appeals and things like that.
When did it get paused?
What's up, sis? It's so good.
Hey,
I told you.
Lana.
I told you guys she felt bad. She wanted to reschedule. She couldn't do it. It's all right, hon. We understand. Thank you for that. Did that come through here or through one of you guys?
Through you, I
For
think.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Lana. We love you. We'll reschedule it, guys, and we'll get her back on here when she can. Things happen. We understand. Thank you so much, and we love you, dear.
That was sweet.
Did Jax win?
Hopefully.
What is next Saturday? The 28th? We got Birdie next Saturday.
Oh, we can just schedule her around between that one and the following. We have
Yeah.
Bert Saturday and Jules
It's the 4th, which,
April 4th.
yeah, that's the first weekend, and
So then we can
April.
put her in between.
there's no.
No. So then we'll do her. Well, that didn't sound good. We'll put her after Jules. If that's okay. Surprise, guys. Jules is going to be joining us. Sorry.
Be the 11th of
Okay.
April.
All right, Lana. I'll talk to you maybe April 11th. If you're not busy, we can reschedule it for that time, hon. We know that. We know. You don't have to explain yourself. Don't you worry about that ever. Don't be embarrassed. It's all good. Life happens, especially when it comes to Mr. Jax. That's always a priority.
Family first. That's right.
Right. So we'll
Yeah, no
reschedule.
reason to be embarrassed, girl. No reason.
Life happens. We
Support
appreciate it.
Joe, baby.
So yes, so you guys now know the full following schedule. So we have Birdie joining us on the 28th. Miss Jules is joining us on April 4th. And hopefully we'll be able to schedule Lana for the 11th, guys.
Cool.
We have a full schedule.
Yeah, I'm excited for these upcoming shows.
Yes, definitely.
Yep.
Yes, four hands we are. So anyway, those are some interesting things. I'm kind of glad that we fell into that question. Those are some interesting things as to why that GoFundMe could have been paused. The ones that catch my attention most and are exciting to me are the law enforcement, the possibility of an investigation. Because I think a lot of us feel like there's something coming down the road. Maybe there's an investigation going on that people are that somebody's being looked into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why do you
Or
think-
is it?
Go ahead.
Kim.
No, go ahead.
Is it possible that they paused it on their own for some reason? If that's true, though, I don't know
Yeah.
why they would just leave it paused, though, because you think they'd sure want more money.
Has any of it? I haven't even looked at it. Does it look like any of it's been withdrawn, or did it just pause right where it was?
Can we see that? I don't look at GoFundMe's.
I don't have the link for it. I don't know.
I don't know shit.
Annie Ruler's in the house. Haven't seen you, Annie.
So
you are
why-
amazing. No worries, Lana. We love you.
Who said that there's a parallel investigation going on?
Oh, was that the thought because of all the agencies there, right?
But I think someone actually said, I know WSU mom Kim said it.
Oh, there was one going on when the murders happened. At that time, is it still going on? I have no clue. But there was.
Well, it
when this
should
all
be
happened.
with the leak.
I'm trying to think if it was said in court.
I don't think so. I don't remember. Does anybody else? Maybe. Love you too, sis.
Anybody remember talk of a parallel investigation?
Extraterrestrial said. I think Steve said it.
Well,
Well, we do know that there is the leak investigation going on. I don't know if that would have any bearing on that, but
It was
And-
before that, and it makes
Yeah.
me. Whenever I heard that, I thought the drug ring part of it, because we always knew there was a task force, a drug task force was doing work and all that kind of stuff.
there's this.
That's what I thought it
Genuinely.
was too at the beginning.
David Nye parallel investigation for women trafficking. I didn't hear that, but that's interesting.
I'm
No,
gonna ask something too
Very interesting.
in your side of the chat. Was that what it was? Oh no, that was Wadebird. My bad. I think. Yep.
There's a case about information not being released correctly. It starts with an E.
Yeah. Plus, isn't it Lana's birthday weekend? Like, girl.
it's her
Go
birthday
celebrate.
month.
Yeah. Right. Clap it.
You're fine, Microdot.
I wonder when this GoFundMe was taken down or whatever, paused.
Right.
It's been
It's like 2
couple
months,
months.
hasn't it?
Yeah, a couple months. You're welcome, and thank you again, dear. Number 2 towards our goal. Bring the fun bombs on Saturday. Yes, ma'am.
I wonder if it was something to do with that WSU lawsuit thing.
I mean, maybe it does have something to do with that, the WSU lawsuit, folks. That would be an ongoing investigation into something per se. It's a civil suit, I mean, and that was one of the things in there. It could be.
I feel like I remember it said like by an ISP officer or Bill Thompson or something like earlier in the case. Like when they still thought there was going to be a trial and things like that. I just can't put my finger directly on it about the parallel investigation.
They don't show when it's been withdrawn. Thank you, Jesse. I didn't know.
What if it has to do with the internal affairs investigation? I was just talking about that. Dago and I were talking about that on Friday.
That's interesting, Kim. That's a good point. Yeah, that one. Supposedly, a Moscow police law enforcement officer has been investigated by internal affairs per se. They won't give us any information. They never do, but
Yeah.
that could be if it has something to do with her. That would definitely affect her, right?
What?
Thank you, Michelle. And it looks like Miss Jessie Lynn received a new membership. You didn't even need one, but you got one anyway, Jesse. Welcome to the source. The new meatball, and thank you, Michelle. God bless.
Because think about that. If you're having an internal affairs investigation, to me, that seems very like it's something big.
Yeah.
It's not like someone gave the example like, oh, someone could have had a DUI 25 years ago. No,
Yeah.
I think you're doing an internal affairs investigation for something like that.
Right.
And also, when Thompson notified the defense about this, because they have to, Brady violation, it wasn't early on in the case, I don't think. I think it was in 23. So then the question becomes, is it something that happened along the way during the investigation?
Is there somebody that's going to be involved with what?
Could be.
Roll back on this. Are they involved in this part of this lawsuit?
Well, no, none of they shouldn't have been. None of their names were listed. Nobody that has to do with her is listed unless something was pulled out about her.
You mean, is Dylan part of the WSU lawsuit?
Oh, no, whatever the officer. That's where.
Oh, yeah, we don't know. They won't give us any information on who it is or what it is.
Yeah, that's
surprise. Hold on, you guys keep going.
Private.
I'll be right
It's
back.
privacy. Sorry.
I'll be right back.
So, genuinely confused in the chat says, have you looked into the Pocatello, Idaho Lance Peck funeral scandal? A lot of women that are local has been posting about this, saying that he is Jack D's uncle with a question mark.
1 second, Logan. Moonlit Baby, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. It is the Red Fox. Pulling out something. What does it say? Number 1, something like that. It's cute. Thank you.
Pulling out that lipstick.
I appreciate you, Moonlit Baby.
I don't know. Yeah, it's or she could have maybe hit her goal and withdrew the money. I don't know.
That's true.
I don't really know how GoFundMe's work, but that could be, I suppose.
How long do you let it go on for?
Right. Strange.
Yeah.
I'm interested in having a little discussion about the crime scene investigator that Birdie had on his channel the other night.
Oh, I didn't see that. What was the...
I was told, I didn't see it, but then I was told to watch it, and I found some things interesting, I suppose. A little bit interesting.
Did they make observations about the crime scene? Like their own personal?
They did. I fell asleep halfway through it, but there was one point just on the contrary that I noticed. And it's more of just like a personal pet peeve thing. He was like, I didn't listen to the 911 call fully and blah, 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 blah. But to me, it was like, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Stop. You've listened to the 911 call. But he wanted to make everybody think that he hadn't yet so they could get a honest reaction. But I'm pretty sure he had listened to the 911 call first. He knew everything else in the case. But yeah. But yeah, he had some observations that would lean towards what we thought. I remember him talking about the 911 call and what you would expect to be going on at that time. But as I listened to the 911 call again myself, I just noticed a few things that seemed a little bit off. You can kind of tell like where they're all located during the call. And for a lot of it, they're inside. And Hunter seems to take much longer than I would expect in the bedroom. So
that's because I believe he went upstairs.
Yeah. But they're also all in the living room, I believe, at this time.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they're outside.
I can't get over that 911 call and them not being focused on Xana every second of that call. Like,
thank you, Moonlit Baby. Sorry, Kimmy. Thank you, Moonlit Baby, for the super sticker. We appreciate you.
I wonder, why would they go to Hunter to come over? Why wouldn't they call Jack?
Probably because they weren't close with Jack. They didn't know Jack.
Yeah.
That's, again, an opinion.
It sounds like they did it often. They said that in their interviews. Like they would call them over so much. It was almost probably like crying wolf. To me, that's why the girls didn't seem to take it so seriously. Interesting that Hunter did after, how many times of it being nothing.
He was Mr.
Right.
Dun-Dun.
He was what?
Mr. Dun-Dun.
Right.
Again,
Tomboy said all that blood. No one said any word, not one word about all that blood.
Well, and
right.
Birdie asked, his name is Jeffrey Gentry or something like that, asked him about that. And he was like, well, you might not necessarily smell the blood, but I don't think it was ever told to him, well, 2 different doors were open as well. Could that make some of the smell come out of the rooms? Whether it goes back out the door or not, you would still smell it throughout the house then, because that would bring it out of the rooms, the smell, having the doors open. But I don't think that was asked.
I think the seasoned police officers had more of a guttural reaction to what they saw and smelled than innocent, naive college students who have never experienced anything like that before in their lives entering a scene like that. Like, in my opinion, Hunter should have been in a corner puking his guts out. and hyperventilating and shock.
Repeatedly.
Like, you want to talk about frozen shock fear? He should have been like, just like
Repeatedly.
As soon as he went in there, he should have said, "Oh my God, there's blood everywhere. Get here now."
Yep.
Because you don't know in that, split second when you first see it if they're savable or not. That's what I would have
There
done.
again, before that, even there were people there that didn't do it before that either. So makes you wonder.
I didn't watch more than like 10 minutes of that guy that Birdie had on it. I don't know.
I didn't either.
He didn't like keep me engaged. I was like, what?
Right.
I don't know.
Understood.
Maybe I was in a bad mood.
Let's see. 83 guys, 83 likes. Come on now.
Dago, who did you say? Like other people that were in the house first? Who did you mean?
I just feel like there was other people there that left. This is my opinion. I don't have any proof. But for some reason, I feel like there are people that were there at the house, in the house, before somebody decided to call law enforcement. I'm just it to me it feels like there were other people there. And I think somebody said, "Okay, it's time to call the police now. It's that time," and everybody bolted. This is my opinion. I feel like others went inside. I feel like others were there. I think there was many people there. This is again just my own personal opinion. I've thought that forever.
I agree with you. And that, I don't know why, but that was a rumor early on. I think because like little statements were made, and I think it was by either at press conferences or maybe family members, but statements were made early on that there were a lot of people at that house. I think one of the someone in the press asked Chief Fry about people being there, and he said a lot. I don't know how many, something like that.
Yeah, there was other people at that house too, he said. So he even said there were other people at that house that night, the night of the murders. So
yeah,
take it for what it is. Now, of course, if you ask somebody like Nasty Disgrace, Brian Koberger did it all on his own.
And even all these people, like, that's all they can like relate back to. Oh, what like was, all these cases that continue to come up. It's the big relation. Oh, well, the Brian Koberger case.
I know. What are your thoughts there, Logie? I see you deep in thought, it looks like.
Yeah, I was looking for some information. Sorry.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. It's all good.
Anything exciting?
No. Jeffrey Gentry wrote a children's book called Jeffrey Found a Dead Body.
What the truck?
Wow.
What? How does that fit?
The crime scene guy that Birdie had on. I was just looking him up.
Okay.
Wrote a children's book called Jeffrey Found a Dead Body.
Are you serious? Oh my God.
He's got a hell of a background, but gosh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like everywhere.
I want to read that book.
So funny.
I don't know. I got like textbook type answers. What I felt, it wasn't like I've been on like a scene kind of, I've worked it kind of thing. I don't know. I'm all over the road.
Tony Stevenson said light reading.
Hunter J should have been freaking the out, and he should have room mentioned the fact that there's blood all over the room. You don't see a crime scene right.
I mean,
no. Instead, he did this.
Look at old.
I'm pretending to be Chris Watts. Don't mind me.
Look what Dolly recently did with that whole Nancy Guthrie thing when the dude flipped out.
What happened?
I didn't
when Dolly saw that body.
Oh yeah.
That's a natural reaction.
Yeah,
could be. Yeah,
and he's
this is a young kid,
adult man.
But I mean, it is a different generation.
They're completely different. I agree with that one. Definitely. And maybe it's because we're Gen X and our expectations of things are like this is what should normally happen because this is how we were raised. But, this generation coming forward is like, I don't care what you tell me. I'm going to go shoot up somebody or do this or do that. And there's no consequences. Slap me on my wrist and let me on my way. I mean, they don't have the fear of shit.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's weird. It's scary, guys. Truly, it's like that generation doesn't seem to have a fear of consequence, a fear of authority. They don't react.
That's wild.
It's wild.
I
It
also
is.
think they have that because of school shootings, because I'm a teacher, I've gone through so many trainings and everything about that. And
Right.
there was an expert that said these kids, they literally are desensitized if they play
Yeah.
some of these video games.
Yeah.
So it could be that effect too. I still think it would have an impact if it was in person versus being virtual.
What do you guys think of, like, where did the disconnect start with all this? Like,
It's social media.
yeah.
You can
That's
see
what-
everything at the tip of your fingertips in a 30-second clip, and then you move on to the next one, and it's,
Like, transfer it to life.
Yep.
There's some, it's not all either, but it's some. There's some changes in parenting that have happened.
Yeah.
Like I've come across a lot of parents that almost seem afraid of their kids. I don't know.
And I guess as that is evolved, like the social media thing, it's a couple of years go by, and next thing you know, those kids are having kids.
Department would like to.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much so. So this is the very first 3 days after the homicide, the very first press conference that was ever had. Mind you, 3 days. It took them 3 days to put this together. I think it's interesting. Now, first off, Chief Mood Ring here, you can kind of tell when he's uncomfortable with the situation because he turns red like immediately.
Beet red.
Yeah, you can read him. I call him Chief Mood Ring because of that, because he changes colors left and right over every question. It's crazy. And you can tell when he's frustrated. You can tell that he wants to start answering certain questions in different ways, so on and so forth. There's a lot with this interview or this press conference that I think tells its own story. This is 3 days after the crimes happened. They had no suspect, according to them, which we all know was not true. It was Jack Decor. I thought it might be a good idea to look at this. I saw a couple people in chat mentioning this. So
He's got
ladies,
groundhog characteristics.
Yeah, it does kind of look like he could be a Phil.
It just runs out and goes back.
Right. Runs out, comes back. Comes
Pay
out, goes back.
attention.
Yes. No,
Pay
Lana
attention.
didn't make it tonight, Donnie. Sorry. Did you guys want to check out some of this? I saw a couple people referencing it in the chat. Just to see where
Yeah.
we're at today, 4 years later almost, as compared to that day, November 16th of 22. Yes, no?
Yeah, pay attention to what kind of questions the press are asking. Because sometimes he doesn't always answer them. So,
Extend our condolences to all family members, friends. This horrible crime has affected all of us. Involved in this task force include Latah County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, Blue Eyed Butterfly, for the super sticker. I don't know where it went to, but
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Blue Eyed Butterfly.
That's you. Good stuff.
The Idaho State Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations. As we continue our investigation, we have learned that Ethan and Xana were at a party on campus, and Madison and Kaylee were at a downtown bar. They arrived home sometime after 1:45. If anyone in our community
See that statement there alone. They arrived home sometime after 1:45. That's all they're going to tell you.
or across our nation has any information about these times or the victim's whereabouts, please call our tip line at 208-883-7180. The facts of the case that we know right now. We know that these homicides occurred in the early morning hours of Sunday, November 13th. Around noon, Moscow officers received a call of an unconscious person. Officers discovered the bodies of Ethan Chapin is at the call of an unconscious 13th. Around noon, Moscow officers received a call of an unconscious person.
Around noon, they received a call of an unconscious, not cautious person. They're not giving any specific times, which is what always bothered me on this. Just so you guys know, I'm going to point that out.
Officers discovered the bodies of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Goncalves inside the residence on King Road. The four were stabbed with a knife, but no weapon has been located at this time. There was no sign of forced entry into the residence. Investigators are continuing to collect evidence at the scene. Investigators are working to develop a timeline to relevant events. Autopsies are taking place today on all the victims so we can continue to gather evidence and solve the crime. Investigators are working to follow up.
So let me speak to this statement right here. Okay. Tomboy said, Dago, the Smiths said that they had Brian Koberger's name before the first presser. And I've said for years. Are you still here, Kim? I know Mikey had to step away for a minute. I've said for years that I figured they had Brian's name early on. So this is November 16th of 2022. So if they had Brian Koberger's name before this, this only happened 3 days before this, you guys.
Yeah.
If that's a factual, and the people that they're speaking out are people that should have names from where they work at. I'll just put it that way. That's all I'm going to say. I can't put any more information out than that. But for them to have that kind of information then that early on, they should have that. Okay. So that's interesting to me. So we have 3 days. This murder happened 3 days ago, and there's certain agencies that knew 3 days into this before the presser happened that Brian Koberger existed.
In 3 days, how did they get that? Was that through the DNA, the cell phone records? Either which one, I feel like they take at least 7 to 14 days in a typical case for somebody to get to that.
So right. These things do take time, but they have Jack DeCour as they're listed as their first suspect. How did they know who Brian Koberger was?
And if it was the DNA, they had to go through what the fuck? They had to do this tree shit with the family because obviously so which takes extra time.
So she says that she had to ask again, and they said the 15th. How did they know who Brian was on the 15th? Unless it was already there. Now, if that's a true statement, then that tells me that they knew who this person was, whether he was they're going to be their suspect or not. They knew who he was, and then it almost sounds to me like they knew who he was, and then they decided, if this is true, again, of course, I'm just saying this because we don't have absolute something I can say, here's the proof. That's why we say it like that. So.
My thought, he would have had to have been directly kind of connected to something, not necessary for them to just, they can't, I don't know, I guess they could. Oh, here's Brian Koberger. We're going to pick him out, go get the swab his fucking, get his touch DNA, and let's do this.
Oh, hold on. I want to verify a date here. December 15th. This is November that we're in right here during this presser, okay? I want that to be clarified so that this is understood. So we're saying, let me verify that with you too, Tomboy. So you're saying that they knew who Brian Koberger was by November 15th? That's 2 days after the murders.
It's impossible.
I don't see how that's even remotely close.
Yeah. 2 days after the murders, you couldn't even possibly be, they did process the whole MF and crime scene.
It took them 9 days to process the crime scene.
So it's impossible.
Well, again, is it, or is it because it was a pre-planned situation.
Well, yeah.
If that's true, that would mean that it's a pre-planned situation, the whole entire thing. That's the thing that gets me. It doesn't sound I mean, it that's crazy. That's wild.
If that's the case, then that means a whole lot of different scenarios come into place.
Right. The whole thing turns upside down at that point.
What would be the first different scenario, Kimmy, you'd think of? Vern.
They knew it was going to happen.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm like sitting on. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Why would you have somebody picked out to be a fall guy?
That's another. Well, there you go. Take that.
Or
put that
is he
into it.
not the fall guy? Is he something else? Referring back to the reply that Miss Potts got about all those other agencies and stuff like that.
Repeat that reply again, Logan.
The reply to Miss Potts, and I'm just paraphrasing, it's not verbatim, was that Miss Potts FOIA'd information about Brian Koberger, and the response that she got was something along the lines of, we cannot give you any information in this case regarding people that are involved with WITSEC,
yep,
NetSec, confidential informants, or anything along those lines.
She did not say nutsack before you guys go there.
Yeah.
She didn't say that. Okay.
Yeah, her response, they cited a law or a rule or like, you know, a code, and then Miss Potts read the like 3 or 4 different scenarios, which could be the reason, but they didn't tell her which one it was.
So
But
there
I don't
again,
think any of them sounded innocent.
why are you citing any of that if it has nothing to do with that, though? I mean, you wouldn't unless it did, and not nutsack, not wet sack, none of that. Yes, the love letters from the FBI. That's the point. That's the point.
So
one of the reasons could have been national security.
And they labeled that on this case. They labeled this case with national security issues, which is why all of this stuff went down like it did. And let's go back to what Twiz said. What if? Just what if, guy? And again, I've been saying this recently, because I think we have to. We've been in this box for 4 years. I'm going to say 4 years because we might as well. Okay, it's going to be 4 years.
Just do it.
What we have to step outside of this box at some point. No matter how weird it feels, no matter how strange it sounds, we have to step outside of this box, okay, and look at other options, other angles, because none of the stuff inside the box makes any damn sense. So it is what it is. And I told you guys before, short of looking at somebody and saying, okay, to them telling me that aliens landed in the Banfield, 3 little green dudes ran in and came out covered in blood. I'll listen to everything but that. And at some point, hell, I might even listen to that now. But I'm saying we have to look outside the box at some point and say, okay, what the hell is this? It doesn't fit in here. None of this makes any sense. Okay, so let's go over here or over there and see what says that. Twiz said, what if they knew who Brian was before the murders even happened?
Yeah.
That's not that far out of the realm of reality to think of, in my opinion. Go ahead, Mike.
How long's it been that everything was said and done? It hasn't even been a year yet, right?
With Brian's sentence? No. His testimony? Sorry. Or not his testimony. The plea deal. Sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, it's June, I think, or July. July, I think it is.
June.
Or
so
June.
Still,
yeah.
It's still way too early to like say, like, is there any differences in like after, he plead to him being locked up, but compared to other people, but it's still too early because, hell, I don't think they can even talk to their family for fucking like 8 to 10 months or something once they get in there. I don't know.
I think he does. When you get, from my understanding, if you get put in prison, there's a intake time. You have to go through a few weeks of intake period where you get to know everything, and then they send you off to your home prison, I think. And then whatever else is going on, depending on the situation. Yeah. I don't know if he's being held in segregation because of the situation. I don't know if he's in regular, you know what I mean?
I guess the only weird difference would have been that weird room that we saw that he was put in. Like, why did they put him in that room?
That was I think that was intake. Like it looked like a medical unit based on what I saw.
Microdot in the chat has a really good question, and they said, who had the most to lose and what had the most to gain?
Mm-hmm.
The
And I think
university.
that, yeah, it's a good question and a good point.
Who had the most to lose and what had right? Good point,
Yeah.
Micro.
Mm-hmm.
Any anybody want to answer on that?
You know, it makes me think. So, in the process of, they were trying to buy the Phoenix whatever.
Mm-hmm. University of Phoenix.
Phoenix
When was
University.
were they trying to? I know this does maybe not fully connect, but were they trying to scam money off of this to, even like the house and shit, like the write-offs that some of these people could have quote unquote taken. And were they getting money from someplace to put into the university to try to? It sounds dumb, but
It doesn't though, because they had just purchased some kind of a supercomputer type thing, and then he went directly from that into purchasing the Phoenix University online, and which he failed horribly at. But it, do- right, what was the money situation like? You know what I mean?
So the university right before this happened was doing really bad on the money side, from my understanding. And then
Right.
right after this happened, they somehow made tons of money, and that's when they went to purchase University of Phoenix.
and like the
Enrollment
percentages
went up.
Yeah.
Yes. Believe it or not, we looked into that like immediately, thinking that the enrollment was going to drop off, and guess what? It didn't. It went through the roof.
Why did it go up?
That's a great question.
It,
I would
it was
imagine
right after
would've dropped
COVID.
off.
Like, I wonder what year it was that it went up.
Between 22 and 23, the
Oh.
enrollment numbers
Yeah.
went through the roof. Remember, we
It
looked
was-
at that.
Quick, immediate. It was quick.
Yeah, like immediately. Almost like
Stuff-
people are like, I want to go there.
But stuff with the big C was still active till like 23, right? I mean, things were weird.
I mean, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Lenny's got a good point. The students know they can get drugs there now. I mean, would be.
Uh-huh.
Any thoughts, Kim? Are you
Oh
with
my
us?
gosh, I've had so many thoughts.
Spill it. Just,
I don't
just
know.
do it. Come on, man.
I don't know. I think the town had the most to lose, because if that university goes down because of this, the town dies.
Oh yeah.
The university probably had the most to gain. If they had
Definitely.
Brian's name ahead of time, I think it's because of work he was doing
Well,
as a TA and criminology.
can I tell you how I think they may have had his name before?
Through the cloud forensic stuff, or what?
He was referred by one of his teachers to that area to walk to WSU on purpose for the program that he was in. He was getting a very high reference to that, or whatever you call that. Not reference, but
Referral.
thank you, Logan. A referral, a very big and very highly rated referral. And then he also did interviews with WSU or Pullman Police. That, in my opinion, is how he was known to who they were, because of the referral and possibly his name going in the system for the interview that he did with Janky. And I was told that he interviewed with Moscow too, but I don't know if that's true.
Here's
Thank
something
you.
left. Go ahead.
Because he was trying to get into their program.
Yeah, right.
And I know that I read, now it might have been in Bloom's book, but I didn't read his book. I listened to it on audio. Or it might have been his old professor, the one from PA or wherever he was at.
Oh, yeah.
Catherine Ramslin. It might have been her.
Excuse me. Yeah.
But I swear it was said that he was sent, or the reason he was going out there was to help a rural area upgrade their cloud forensics systems, which it has to tie in with criminology somehow, but we haven't heard a whole lot about that. It's just,
not at
he
all.
studies, all we hear is he studies serial killers. But in any
Sexual crimes.
degree department, there are specializations. So yeah, you can be in the criminology department, but that would be a good thing to look up sometime. How many areas or departments of that are there? What all can you specialize in?
Right. That's a good point. And he was also known to be studying or obsessed with sexual crimes. If you remember, that was a big deal too. Put those two together, and what do you have? You know what I mean?
Right. And I just think
Thank you, Sausage.
he was poking around too hard or found something, and
Well,
that could be tied to so many things. That could be tied to an internal affairs investigation. That could be
well,
trafficking.
Let's talk about that here in a quick second, because I just got an idea, Kim, with something you just said. Real quick, there local corruption not capable of shutting down national mainstream media. That reveals federal involvement, generations of corruption exposed with national attention on the Alex Murdaugh, and he went down. Good point, and thank you for that so much, Sausage. But something it keeps tweaking my memory. Okay, but first, Logan, did you have something to say first? Because you're sitting there quiet.
I did, but I lost it. I forgot.
Oh,
Well,
sorry.
take a break. Go find it.
Send out a search party. The sexual based crimes type thing. I feel like I'm getting ready to do a Law and Order commercial.
Just do it.
And the thing that keeps coming back to memory is in the interview that I think it was Dylan. I might be Beth, and I always get them confused. Where she said that Kaylee had told her that she was researching RSOs in that area for work.
Mm-hmm.
I can't let that go, and it makes me wonder: is this a possibility of how this all came into play?
Yep. And was this what the university was part of, and it's part of their money, is that trafficking? And, if something was stumbled upon because she was working over there, and that was going to interrupt money that they needed just for whatever. I thought of something stupid before this. I was like, well, what if the university was somewhat, or that ties to it, was involved in the drugs that went through the house?
Right. And
it was interrupting their money.
I mean, you don't mess with people's money. That's a good point. She was researching, and this is what I want to know is for work, is the way it was listed. I want to know what work she was doing that needed to be done. She was researching RSOs, registered sex offenders, in that area for work, is what was stated. That's what she would do down in that little office side room, computer room down there in the basement. So,
is that part of why they said, oh, she was moving away? They want it to look like she's moving away, but she's really not moving away.
I mean, maybe it was stated that she was going. That's a good point. It stated she was going backpacking through Europe, and then she was moving on to Texas for this new job, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't know what to think, but those things I have always stuck to me. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up chat here.
I think it's more, I'm not discounting that there could be trafficking involved with the people that are responsible for this, but I just,
a tomboy said
after watching the Eric Gower interviews,
yeah,
he was not providing rides. Okay, he was not.
That dude is creepy.
Rides. Like he was, but they weren't only rides. I think it was a cover up for delivery and order and things like that. And I just want to point out real quick, I know this is a little off topic, but one of the things he said in his interview was that if he would bring students from the University of Idaho to Washington State University, kids would be like, well, how am I going to get back? I can't.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Like it's like they took them to Mexico, Kim.
But you realize when you use Uber, you open the app and you click, I need a ride, and then an Uber comes and picks you up. Like it's not.
Well,
like he made it seem like they're going to be stranded at Washington State and the Uber app would not help them out. And so he had to give them his personal phone number for them to call him. So I think that was a total cover, and he is busted in a flat out lie for him transporting back and forth. I don't know, because that does not make sense.
What I find interesting about Eric Gower is, do we remember back when Jack D told law enforcement that he saw a gold van that looked weird, out of place, stalkerish?
Right.
And now that we know that Eric Gower has a silver van, well, do we also remember when law enforcement tested their own light-colored undercover car in the dark under that light, and it looked tan, just like Molly McMichael said? So could Eric Gower's silver SUV or silver van look gold in the light in the dark?
Yeah.
It
Under
very
the
well
light
could.
in the dark?
Yeah. It would just look maybe metallic, or like, whatever that.
But it's possible. It's not out of the realm.
And real quick, too, Tomboy said, think outside the neighborhood. She said that more than once. What she means, I don't know. But think outside that neighborhood. So meaning, are we thinking over in, and I've said this before, just because this went down, it doesn't mean that it had to be people that lived within that neighborhood that went to U of I. It could have been people from Pullman or even something like that, too, if that's what she's
committed
saying.
the crime?
I do agree. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's people that have nothing to do with that area at all. I don't think they're from Idaho. I don't think they're from Moscow. I think personally they're from who knows where. They could be from Mexico. I don't know.
Good point.
Because I think they were, people that are used to doing that. They knew what they were doing.
Brought in, calculated.
Yep.
It's a lot.
Maybe people know the area or something like that. It's probably different levels of people, but
here's the question on that, though. If they were brought in and they didn't know, I don't want to discredit this, but why would they have to stab them so many times? They would just take them out and leave.
It wouldn't be so they could have just shot him. It wouldn't have been shooting him and leaving would have been much more. Yeah. That's why I've struggled with that theory because of that. Because like you said, Mike, like stabbing is personal.
I understand that. I don't think the frats did this. I just don't. I think it was anger and a message from messing with.
Which is very likely. I mean, there's many options, obviously.
Sorry, Dago.
No, you're fine.
What I find interesting is the Gonsalves family and what they choose to post on their Facebook page, in which they tag the For You page so as many people in the world can see it as possible, and what they choose to post on the like their daughters in swimming suits, letting people know what college they go to, what state they're in, what town they're in. I mean, it's like you're asking for a copycat killer to find them.
You're advertising. Thank you.
You're not protecting your children at all. Who would do that after what happened to their daughter? Stop.
Yeah.
Who would do that even before that happened?
Right.
You know?
Like, you think you'd like recluse and go do something positive. Like,
I would hide my family as deep
Oh my
undercover
God.
as I could.
or actually pay attention to that fucking evidence, brah.
Just look at anything. Look at anything that's been put out.
Mm-hmm.
Still never understand that. For those of you that came in late, no, Miss Lana wasn't able to join us today. There was a scheduling conflict, an issue mixed up, but she will be rescheduling. She was in the chat for a few minutes. She will definitely be here soon. She apologizes, so on and so forth. So stuck with us. See, my biggest issue with the fraternity thing has always been keeping their mouths shut, okay, and not slipping something out. That's what I've always struggled with young people, kids. I know they're not kids, but they're adults. They're young adults, keeping their mouths shut about what they did for even this long. That's why I've struggled with that, with the fraternity side to this.
I swear they like instill it in their brains when they come in. like what happens here and what you do stays here. And if anything does happen, you contact us and we will figure it out for you.
I mean, yeah, but you are absolutely right. So I'm just saying, if there's 3 fraternity guys that were involved in a murder, what I've struggled with is how they've kept their mouth shut about this, how they've not gotten drunk and slipped, had, a conscience blow and it slipped out. I mean, I would have imagined already it would have been slipped out. That's what I struggle with, truly and honestly.
It makes me think of that weird video of all those kids that were, what were they in, like their boxers or something in that dark room?
The Iowa video. Yeah.
Do they just go in and brainwash them more? I don't even know, man.
Very hard to believe.
If there's one organization that can keep their mouth shut, it's a fraternity.
Yeah.
And that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I do believe it was done by people they knew.
And
that's something I've always struggled with.
I guess personally. With saying that, in them keeping their mouths shut, and how what I've read on them is, these kids are brought into this to be made like, the best of the best. Like, we're going to help you. You're coming from this fraternity or sorority, and when you go to put it on your resume, you're going to look great. Like it boosts your, to whatever to get a job. So,
right.
Is that just what's part of the deal? Like, this is what you got to do. And, we're going to get you to wherever. It's just, I think it's brainwashing all around.
Oh, yeah.
We got your back.
That's definitely a form of brainwashing. They do that all the time.
I mean, I definitely think it was some people who knew, at the very, very least, they knew that there wasn't 6 men in that house with guns. They knew there wasn't cameras outside. They knew there wasn't cameras inside. They knew there wasn't those Ring cameras or things like that. They knew what they were walking into. They also, in my opinion, knew whose bedroom was whose, because why would you walk past the very first bedroom you would have seen, which would have been Dylan's? So you're just going to walk past that room to go to, if it was just a one-off spree killing and they were just trying to get at whoever, whenever, Dylan.
And then they saw each other.
Right.
Yeah. Then she wouldn't be alive. I agree with you, Logan, if it was that type of crime. Yeah.
A lot of mass killers are there to get their number up and see how many they can, the number count matters to them.
Maybe they didn't want to mess with her because of the bitch face.
They knew she was worried her phone was going to die. They just wanted to let her get her charger and charge her phone.
Yeah. And she was so tipsy. Oh my goodness. She just,
it could have been a dream. They knew. They looked at her and saw, well, I don't know if she's awake or dreaming. So I don't know.
We didn't want to interrupt her Vampire Diaries show.
I was going to bring that up. I was trying to spin something off of that shit. I couldn't think fast enough.
I mean, so considerate of them.
Oh my goodness.
I think I misspoke earlier when I say connected to the cartels, I'm not talking to about El Mencho down in Mexico. Yeah. Okay. I'm talking about 10 branches down from him of the guy that's in Idaho in charge of a branch maybe that comes from him. And if his stuff gets messed up, he's going to get it from back home. And so he is going to take care of this. And I don't think it's just related to this house and just related to these kids. I think it does connect to a lot of other people. And I think the people that would have went in were maybe connected to somebody in that, like you said, Logan, they had to have inside information. And we all have speculated about who that person inside that house we can tie to a person that is in that world, in that drug world, right? And I think it would branch out from there. So when I said different levels, maybe it's a low level local drug dealer, and then maybe, the thugs that go in and break legs all the time, right? In the old days, the mafia.
She could have just had, that aura, that great friend aura that's around her. That's why they saved her. She's just a great friend.
She's super nice. Super.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that like knows them and hung out with them and things like that. It could be, and I lean towards sometimes that it might be, but it's just somebody or a group of people or people that knew because they got intel one way or another on that house and who's in it. But when they said it's targeted, I truly believe it's targeted to specific people, not just the house, but the people in it. One
Right.
or two of them.
Right. Why the two would be left alive.
Huh. That kind of brings me to that recent interview that we heard from, what's his name? Jack's roommate?
Braden Jensen.
When he said, mentioned those, give those stupid girls rides or something of that nature.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
who said that?
Braden Jensen. Those were his exact words. Not to mention the fact that he says he's the only one that says, I still don't understand how this happened and those two were left alive. He's the only one that ever said anything like that, too.
Yeah. And I think then that like followed the stupid girls thing. It's like, I don't even know.
Has anybody cleaned up that interview yet? Because I could not make anything out of that interview.
What do you mean,
I
Vern?
heard. I turned on the closed caption and just listened to it slow, and it was.
What do you mean?
You can hear quite a bit of interesting.
I had my good headphones in. I just couldn't. I didn't know the closed captioning worked. I'll have to try that.
I swear I listened to like 15 minutes of it with like just shit earbuds.
Yeah,
shit
it's hard to
Samsung
hear.
earbuds.
It's hard to hear, but
it
you
was
gotta pay
definitely
attention.
hard. Yeah.
Well,
Like somehow you gotta like make all the noise around you kind of disappear and just try your hardest to listen to what they're trying. Yeah, I had to rewind several times to figure out what was being said. It was like crackly and like distant and yeah.
I don't know if hold on a minute here.
Can I go back to something we were talking about earlier? No.
Please do.
When we were talking about the date that they knew Brian, it was making me think, okay, if they were going to try to pin it on somebody, we know we have on video Brent Kopaka saying he was afraid they were going to set him up, right? And I think he said like his ex-girlfriend's brother or something, they're going to pin those murders on me. Like we have him actually saying that. I'm wondering what date that was. Definitely before, when was he killed? December 14th, 15th, something
15.
like that. 15th. So way before that. Well, I don't know, way before, but he knew. My point is he knew or was paranoid at the fact that they were trying to set somebody up for that for those murders. I think that's
that last part again.
Very telling. Just the point that he knew that they were trying to set somebody up for these murders.
Yeah, that alone in itself tells its own story. I agree.
And he was brought there for what? Something with internet crimes? What was this?
Brian?
Yeah, or what he was looking into?
I heard forensic, cloud-based, to like update their systems for law enforcement. So I think he was in their little systems seeing stuff he wasn't supposed to see. That's what always been.
Yes.
Ever since I heard that, that's what I envisioned.
Well, I mean, hell, you got a judge that's there for 30 years and he got what, 3 freaking he had 3, whatever. Everything was a plea deal or whatever, He had 3 cases that went to trial.
I wish somebody could find footage of that.
Yeah. Wait. Which part, Kim?
What's that?
Footage of what?
still didn't hear.
You wish somebody could find footage of that, which
Oh,
what?
of Bill Thompson in court at a real trial.
Oh yeah. If it, good luck. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. Trying to catch up in chat here.
Yeah, good luck.
They've had a lot of good comments in chat. Questions.
Definitely.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely. So, and again, sorry, you guys. We were prepared for a different type of show. We were not prepared for what we're doing right now, so that's why it probably seems a little off. So my apologies for that. It's still a good conversation either way.
I think we're having an awesome conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. All those things that are just like.
Very much so.
I know Logan looked into some of this, but I think it'd be real interesting to go back through some of Billy's cases.
Yeah.
And see what I had asked Sluther about this kind of in a roundabout way, but is there like a more streamlined way to find like his cases and like who was involved, like case files? Well, obviously they probably hide everything, but still. I don't know. When you found some of that stuff, Logan, was that just like remember those 3 cases you told me about?
Mm-hmm.
In like what form did you, that was just like in like Google, like it wasn't like file type stuff, right?
No, it wasn't files, but I Googled, but I did have to like dig a little bit for specifics.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were 3 that were very similar, and the way Bill Thompson does his cases is pretty much the same, and it seems like he threatens people that aren't involved in the crime with being overcharged in the crime, so they will turn suddenly into a witness, but they're not witnesses at all. And then they make up stories,
right?
And then his person gets charged that he wants to be charged or found guilty because of these witnesses that weren't witnesses, that were basically coerced or threatened in a sense.
And I'd like to see like how many of these multiple people, like these Mollies, have been brought into different cases.
Molly was going to be the same exact thing.
Or who has been flipped from one to another. Just like the Kentucky bullshit, kinda, you know?
Yeah.
So I have 2 things. It's not just Bill Thompson that does that. It is the prosecution system across our entire country that does that. It is the norm. And the other thing about Molly, like, I don't think people are stressing this enough, because when she's on that body cam footage saying, I'm the one that they're trying to keep quiet, and I'm going, to testify about Brian Kohberger, her testimony was going to be false. She was supposed to testify that she saw Brian at the house. And then you listen to her talk in her interviews. She didn't see Brian. She saw a red-haired guy in a tan car. That's huge. Someone needs to be in trouble for that. Like, that's on video.
And also with thinking with like what I was just talking about, Ann Taylor's case is, she's, on Brian's side, but what have they put her through in her career? What have her cases turned out like?
What is her record?
That's a good point.
I don't know.
But I think that's a direction that we should, I don't know, maybe go towards, because it's, you can only go over some of this stuff so much, but it's, to go into, this isn't the first time the fuckery has happened.
But I mean, what are your guys' thoughts about that with Molly? Like, do you see that the same way? Like, I don't know where I heard the part about, well, she says it on the video, I'm the one that they're keeping quiet, and I'm the one that's supposed to testify about Brian. I don't know how that translated into she was going to get on the stand and say, I saw him at the house. Maybe we just assumed that.
Like, where did she get filed in?
Well, they were using her because she kept getting in trouble, so they could, instead of sending her to prison or jail, they're like, do this for us, work with us.
I'm having a moment. Have we seen her interview?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait.
Okay.
Interview or
With
what am I thinking of when she said?
Because they would have had to have interviewed her, right? Have we
They
seen an
didn't
interview? Huh?
Where does she say I saw a red-haired guy?
I mean, probably in her fucking crayon book, but
No, I think we saw her interview.
yeah, I don't know. I'm having a memento.
Who?
Molly.
Yeah, she was interviewed with Gooch.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Gracias.
Yes.
Mi amiga.
And Payne.
Yeah.
Mike's trying to make me feel crazy.
No,
yeah,
what do you mean, Vern?
Remember they sat across the room and the camera was sitting like on the table pointing to them, but they were further away.
Yeah. Yeah. What else, guys?
I don't know, Vern.
I had a whole list of questions for Lana.
Well, hang on to them because she'll be joining us again.
I know.
Oh shit! I haven't paid attention to any of these chats. You guys have been chatting away over here.
The chat has been amazing tonight.
In this back chat, I don't even know what's going on. I am just like in a zone or something, huh?
Yeah, Twiz. Jax had a game, so we're gonna reschedule with Lana. Yes. Have you guys watched Lana's mock trials? I started watching the Eric Gower one because
I
he
started
is so
to.
obsessed to me now.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So where are we at now? Yeah, we're about
Thanks,
10 minutes out. Anything you guys want to add to close this out? We're about 10 minutes out from 8 o'clock. That's our 2-hour mark. What are you guys thinking? Miss Logan, Miss Kim, any last thoughts?
I'm waiting for new body cam or new videos to come out. Isn't Connor supposed to be getting something?
Sigma Chi. I'm definitely looking forward to the Sigma Chi
interviews.
stuff.
Oh my gosh, that will be wonderful. Yes.
And just so you guys know, I have reached out to a couple different crime scene analysts as well. Sorry, I don't have the actual screen on. Sorry. Just to see if we can get a response to maybe get some different opinion as well.
That would be amazing.
Wonderful. Yeah.
I am looking forward. We're
difficult for sure.
We're definitely working on trying to get other types of guest guys, the experts, to join us here. To break certain things down. So I'm looking forward to that. But don't forget, again, we have next Saturday, Birdie's going to be joining us. The following Saturday after that, Miss Jules from True Crime Reactions will be here. And then hopefully, if everything works out, we will have Lana as April 11th. So we got a full schedule.
Yeah.
And don't forget, of course, guys, as soon as we end here, you can join myself and Miss Logan over at Crimes After Dark.
Sorry.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So looking forward to that as well. So.
Oh shit! It's still light out up there, bud.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's almost down now, but Logan, any last thoughts before we get out of here? Nothing?
She's muted and said no.
All right. And Mikey, what are your thoughts, brother?
No, negative. Nothing, blank.
All right.
Appreciate everybody coming out and, apologize that things didn't work out.
Well, guys, I want to thank you guys for another awesome episode. I'm sorry this wasn't what we expected it to be, but I promise you we'll bring it back. So, again, it's another great episode of The Verdict Room, Unfiltered, with Thank You, Typically Unique, Bronx Tales True Crime, of course, The Last 24. And all of you in the chat, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for making this happen night after night. You guys are the shiznit, for lack of better terms. Appreciate each and every one of you. And I think that'll do it, guys. Have a great, wonderful night. For those of you that we won't see over at Crimes After Dark, so we will see you tomorrow, I'm sure. And I think that means the verdict is in.
The verdict is in.
Thanks for coming through to the verdict room where we're seeking truth. Yeah, we're seeking truth. Hey. Last 24, they rewind it. True crime heads go find it. Breaking every angle, every track. Bronx telling tales, keeps us on track. Typically unique, never act. Being real, being sharp, being exact. Exposing every secret in the dark. Every little timeline, every mark. Welcome to the verdict room, where we're seeking the truth. Looking for answers, bringing the facts to you. They break it all down. That day goes cafe scenes, working together, throwing revelations at your feet. Oh.
Crime scene chart, they erase that. Put the story back, then replace facts. Looking for the motive, then the cracks. Red yarn on the board, then it snaps. Voices in my ear through the week till they hit play. Then we speak. Files on the table, case on the line. They don't just tell it, they define.
Welcome to the verdict